Hello and welcome back to Stomp City, and today is time for another experiment on TEW 2016, and this one is called the Free Agent Experiment. So in this one, every wrestler in the world is now a free agent, and that also means all the companies don't have any wrestlers. You can see here all non-wrestlers are still working for the company, so you've still got Vince McMahon in charge of WWE, for example. But with a company like AEW, Tony Khan still owns it, but Cody is no longer the booker, and that position is now vacant. But yeah, every active wrestler and semi-active wrestler is a free agent. So let's skip forward a year. Let's see who signs who and who becomes the champions of the companies. It will be interesting to see who WWE sign as their top talent and how the other companies perform with a fresh slate. So let's get into it and see how it goes. So here we are in 2021 now in January, and Wrestler of the Year is Shinsuke Nakamura, and he actually works for New Japan and is the best wrestler in the world right now, and he's the main eventer there, and he's also currently the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. So with that said, we may as well start with New Japan to see who they have signed. And they've got Nakamura, they've got El Generico, they've got Kota Ibushi, Kenta. So a couple of people that they've brought back there. They've got Samoa Joe, Kevin Steen, Claudio Castagnoli, Prince Devitt, which is huge, Hiroki Goto, Shingo Takagi, and then we go down the list. We've got some more recognisable names, Pac and Brody Lee. Even Bobby Lashley now works for New Japan. They've got Sami Callihan. It looks like they've got Nick Jackson. I'm not sure about Matt. I can't see him right now. It seems the Young Bucks have gone their separate ways. Let's look at the champions then while we're here. We'll start with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. So we've got Nakamura, as we said before, as the current champion. AJ Styles actually held it at one point, but it seems like he's left now. We'll go and have a look at AJ in a second to see what happened with him, because the belt was vacated. It could have been an injury though. And yeah, we've got the Intercontinental Champion, El Generico, who has had it since the start of the save. You can see there it was vacant before him. We've got the Junior Heavyweight Champion in Prince Devitt, so that's a great champion to have for that. And that is his fourth reign as champion, so that's big. And we've got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Juice Robinson and Masato Yoshino. We've got the IWGP, the Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and it's held by the same team. So they are currently double champions of both divisions, which is big. We've got the United States Heavyweight Champion, Sanada. The Openweight is Claudio Castagnoli, which is huge. We've got the six-man tag title, which is Avalanche, John Klinger and Mohamed Yon. The winner of the New Japan Cup in 2020 was Tama Tonga. We've got the Best of the Super Juniors, which was won by Bryan Danielson, which is big as well. I wonder if he's still with them. I didn't notice him before. We've got the G1 Climax won by Claudio Castagnoli. The Super J Cup hasn't been held just yet. And we've got Juice and Masato as well winning the Super Junior Tag Tournament. So they are clearly the best team in New Japan right now. And the World Tag League was in fact won by El Generico and Kevin Steen, which is awesome. So let's just quickly check AJ and Bryan Danielson. So AJ did leave for Ring of Honor. I'm guessing he was just on a touring contract. And he was, yeah. He finished there in September of last year and signed in March. So a little stint there as the champion, then left, as we saw, and he's with Ring of Honor and Noah. So he is back in Japan just for a different company. Then Bryan Danielson is signed to New Japan on a written deal, and he's currently out with a severe shoulder separation, which is not good. But yeah, he's still there anyway. Let's see how long he's out. And he will be out only for 18 days, so he should be back fairly soon. So let's take a look at AEW. Why not? We'll start there. We've got Tommaso Ciampa at the top there. We've got Stephen Walters, which is one of the Revival, I think. It's Dash Wilder. We've got Dean Mutardi, so Mojo Rawley. Delirious is there. Sal Rinauro. I'm not familiar with him. We've got Thaddeus Bullard, which I think is Titus O'Neil. Fred Sampson, which is Darren Young, so maybe they've reformed as a team. We've got Mike Knox, Cody Blade, The Duke, AJ Gray. Surprisingly, a lack of big names there for AEW. The only real big-ish name is Tommaso Ciampa. So let's check the titles. So Tommaso Ciampa is the AEW champion. Dean Mutardi had it previously and made 10 defenses. So Mojo Rawley, a big player over there in AEW, and is the current AEW Tag Team Champion. alongside Delirious, which is an interesting team to say the least. We've got Maverick and Cody Blade also having the title at one point. AEW Women's Champion is Jenna Van Muscles, someone I'm not familiar with, but fair play. And she's won it off Valentina Vasquez as well. So yeah, AEW slightly underperforming there in roster. They've definitely downgraded from where they are in real life with the likes of Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, and Cody and people like that. And let's check Impact then, with Crazy Steve up there, Danny Duggan, Ethan Page, Chaz Lovely, and a load of people I'm not familiar with as well. And let's check the champions of Impact. So the Impact Knockouts champion is Crystal Banks. Got the Impact World Champion Danny Duggan, who won it off Crazy Steve. The Tag Team Championship is currently vacant, and the X Division Champion is Preston Miles, who doesn't even have a picture. And Jeff Fury also had the title. So Impact again, underperforming I would say. Perhaps are on the downward spiral right now. And we'll move on to the biggest company, of course, in WWE. And they've got Seth Rollins back, they've got Andrade. Dean Ambrose has rejoined WWE after his stint as Jon Moxley in AEW. They've got Drew McIntyre, Kane, John Morrison, Sheamus, Big E. Someone that wasn't there before is Jay Lethal. They brought back Ryback. But everyone else seems pretty much who they had before. Jack Swagger, Adam Cole's there, Bo Dallas, Chuck Taylor is there as well. D'Angelo De Niro has rejoined WWE. Carlito, Curtis Axel. So yeah, huge roster here if you want to have a look through there. They've got Brodus Clay. The women's division's there as well. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Angelina Love, Kairi Sane, Candice LeRae, ODB, Alicia Fox, Lita. That's a huge women's division. Let's check the champions then. And the WWE champion is Bray Wyatt. Adam Cole is the Intercontinental champion after winning it off Andrade. The Raw Tag Team champions are the B Team, and they won it off Jack Gallagher and Chris Masters. And Bayley is the current Raw Women's champion and winning it off Alicia Fox. Rusev and Ryback, the two R's, are the SmackDown Tag Team champions. We've got ODB as the SmackDown Women's Champion after winning it off Bayley, who is now the Raw Women's Champion. So she's had 2 reigns since the return. The United States Champion is Brian Kendrick. And the Universal Champion is Jay Lethal over there on SmackDown after winning it off Drew McIntyre, who had a solid reign with 10 defenses, winning it in March and keeping it until December. So yeah, interesting stuff going on. Let's check the most popular then, see if there's anyone that we haven't seen so far. We've got John Cena, who's still unemployed, so is Brock Lesnar. Paul Levesque, the Triple H, is at Ring of Honor as an occasional wrestler, interestingly. AJ Styles, who we saw before. We've got Roman Reigns still unemployed, Randy Orton still unemployed, Rey Mysterio at CMLL on loan at Ring of Honor. We've got Braun Strowman currently with Full Impact and AAW. Kofi Kingston at NWA and Full Impact. Samoa Joe on a written at New Japan. We've got Ricochet at CMLL. That's a great signing for them and fits the Lucha Libre style very well. We've got The Miz at PWG, assumingly as a heel. We've got Ray Phoenix at CMLL as well. Pentagon is at AAA, IWRG and DDT. And finally, we'll take a look at Matt Riddle, who is currently at NXT. And actually, before we do continue even more, we'll check NXT out first. So who have they got? They've got Mustafa Ali, Shane Thorne, Johnny Gargano, Matt Riddle, the returning Enzo Amore, the Velveteen Dream, Pete Dunne, Kalisto, Otis, Apollo Crews, Tucker Knight. So they have got both of Heavy Machinery. Lars Sullivan has gone back. Akam. There's no Razar from what I can see though. Angelo Dawkins is there. Aiden English, Wesley Blake, Montez Ford. So both of the Street Profits have returned to NXT. Cody Hall, interestingly, as well, the son of Scott Hall, of course. Buddy Murphy reuniting with Alexa Bliss there, of course, former couple. They've got Peyton Royce, Billy Kay, Lana, Dana Brooke. So yeah, all familiar names really, at least in the WWE scene. A couple of anomalies there though. And the champions of NXT, with the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic being Shane Thorne and Johnny Gargano, a new team there. The Mae Young Classic hasn't been fought for yet. The NXT Championship with good prestige at A. Has that always been A? No, it's improved a ton there. And that is currently held by Johnny Gargano, previously being held by Matt Riddle, About Time, and Chad Gable as well. That's an interesting champion. Then NXT's Cruiserweight champion is currently Pete Dunne, which is cool. We've got the North American Championship held by Kalisto. The NXT Tag Team Champions are Apollo Crews and Matt Riddle. And the NXT Women's Champion is Billie Kay. We'll go into the future a couple more years now. We'll go to 2023 to see what's going on. So here we are in the future again. And this time we'll start with WWE. And let's see who the champions are. We've got the current WWE Champion, John Morrison. Bray Wyatt eventually lost it to Jimmy Uso, and then Wade Barrett won it. Jimmy Uso got it back, and then now John Morrison is the champion of Raw. Then the WWE Intercontinental Champion is Kenneth Cameron, of course, Bram, to those that know him from Impact. Adam Cole has been the Intercontinental Champion, as we saw, since losing it to Jack Swagger, who had a long reign, but recently it seems Kenneth Cameron is the champion. Then the Raw Tag Team Championships, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel had it last time, but it was vacated since, won by Mike Mondo and Lance Archer, and then won by Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel once again. The Raw Women's Champion is Peyton Royce. Bayley had it when we last saw. Becky Lynch has since held it and had a decent reign, with Peyton Royce picking that up, seems quite recently, in October. Then Rusev and Ryback are still the SmackDown Tag Team Champions 2 years later. They won it in March 2020, so they've had it over 2 years now, made 17 defenses, so a dominant team there. And the SmackDown Women's Champion is Becky Lynch. I think it was ODB that had it last time, wasn't it? And Kairi Sane had a reign in between, and Becky Lynch has since won it recently as well in November of 2022. And the United States Champion, after being called up from NXT, is Matt Riddle. Last time it was Brian Kendrick, Shane Thorne, Petey Williams and Wesley Blake have held it since. And Dean Ambrose is now the Universal Champion, which is huge. And last time we looked, it was Jay Lethal. Bo Dallas, amazingly, has held the title since. And Dean Ambrose, assuming he hit Bo Dallas with the Dirty Deeds to win the championship there. And you can see there he beat him at Money in the Bank 2022. So let's have a quick look at the roster again to see if there's any new additions. From what I can see, it seems pretty similar. A couple of people that stand out are Mustafa Ali, who was in NXT last time. But other than that, it seems pretty much the same. I think they've got Marty Scurll since as well. Velveteen Dream's on there. Was he there before? I can't quite remember. But yeah, there's the roster. Enzo being called up from NXT as well. But let's look at NXT and the champions. Their best guy apparently is Fred Yehi from Georgia. I've not heard of him, but he's the NXT champion as well, it seems. Angelo Dawkins is still down there in NXT, and so is Otis. Hopefully Otis has won the championship. Let's have a look. Dusty Rhodes Classic has been won twice since we last looked. Velveteen Dream and the current NXT champion Fred Yehi won it in 2021. Then last year it was won by Angelo Dawkins and Otis. What a great team that is. The Mae Young Classic still hasn't been fought for. I'm guessing that's inactive. The NXT champion, as I say, is Fred Yehi. Last time we looked though, Johnny Gargano was the champion. Since then, Velveteen Dream deservingly won the belt and lost it to his tag team partner, who he won the Dusty Rhodes Classic with. So that's interesting. The current NXT Cruiserweight champion, is he a referee? Okay, D.A. Brewer, the referee, has won the Cruiserweight title. That's amazing. Pete Dunne seemingly left the company and it was vacated, and then Axton Ray was also champion. The North American champion is Angelo Dawkins. Who was it last time? It was Kalisto, wasn't it? And since then, Mahabali Shera and Apollo Crews have been champion as well. The NXT champion is Mahabali Shera and Aiden English. And last time we looked, it was Apollo Crews and Matt Riddle, I think. Then the NXT women's champion is Liv Morgan, which is cool. Big fan of Liv. And she won it off Lana, who she, of course, feuds with in real life. So a bit of consistency there from the game, which is good to see. And Lana getting a decent NXT Women's Championship reign before losing it at NXT TakeOver 57 in July 2022. Next up, we'll look at AEW. And they've dropped down to 15th in the rankings, so it doesn't look like things are going very well. I can't see any standout names at all, really, apart from Rob Terry in the AEW roster, and their roster has really taken a hit from this experiment. The champion of AEW is still Tommaso Ciampa 2 years later. The tag team champions are still the same as well, with Delirious and Dean Mutardi. And Danielle Monet is the women's champion, of course, that being Summer Rae. And Valentina Vasquez has had her second reign since we last looked as well. So yeah, not great for AEW, and it looks like they've lost Dynamite as well, and they've only got one TV show now at AEW Dark. So things are looking a bit rough for AEW now. Let's look at their progress. And yeah, they're not doing great in terms of popularity. And it looks like they're not going to be the force that they quite wanted to be in this save. The booker is Delirious, which is cool. He's former Ring of Honor booker, of course. But let's have a look at New Japan then, if we can find them. And they've got Devitt at top there, Kota Ibushi, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bryan Danielson, Kenta Miyahara, Pac is there. Was he there before? Can't remember. AJ's gone back anyway. Nick Jackson's still there. Let's check the champions to see who's got that. And the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion is Samoa Joe, having won it off Nakamura in November. Nakamura having a good reign there with 16 defenses. The IWGP Intercontinental Championship, which is actually now more prestigious than the heavyweight, is Kota Ibushi, having won it off El Generico. So a good reign from El Generico, and then an even better reign from Kota with 14 defenses. Junior Heavyweight Champion is Kushida, which he's returned to New Japan, and Matsuyama had it at one point as well. The Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions are El Generico and Sanada, and they won it off Juice and Masato and have had a good reign since. And the IWGP Tag Team Champions are different this time to the Junior Heavyweight, and it's Craig Classic and Emil Satoshi. And last time we looked, it was of course Juice and his partner Masato, and Kanemaru and Mike Bailey had it in between reigns as well. The United States Heavyweight Champion was Sanada last time, I think. Since then, Nick Jackson's won it, Zach Evans, and now it's Hideki Suzuki. And there's a couple of vacants in there as well. The Never Openweight Champion is Toru Yano. Last time it was Claudio Castagnoli, and he's won it off him and had 13 defenses, which is very good. We've got the 6-man tag champions, Kanemaru, Usuji, and Miyamoto. The New Japan Cup has been won by Pac and Roderick Strong since we last looked. The best of the Super Juniors was Kenta and Zack Sabre Jr., so it's two solid winners there. The G1 Climax has been won after Claudio. It was Kevin Steen and Bryan Danielson. The Super Junior Tag was being won by Bryan Danielson and Roderick Strong and Akira Tozawa and Yamato. And since the El Generico Steen World Tag League win, Bryan Danielson and Roderick Strong, who seem like a solid team there, winning 2 tournaments, the Super Junior and the World Tag League in 1 year. And Joe Doering and Sanada also won the most recent World Tag League. But I think that's all the big promotions out the way. So what we're going to do is go another 2 years into 2025 and look at company wars and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get into 2025 and see what's going on there as well. So here we are, and once again, Shinsuke Nakamura has won Wrestler of the Year, who after winning it in the first year that we simmed. So with that said, let's take a look at the Power 500. We'll start with 2020. And yes, as we know, Shinsuke Nakamura is number 1, Samoa Joe number 2, Kenta Miyahara, interestingly, is number 3, Claudio Castagnoli, Averno, Roderick Strong, Rey Mysterio Jr., Kevin Steen, Go Shiozaki, and Kushida. If you want to go through the rest of the top 20, you can pause now, but they've got the likes of Bryan Danielson, Fergal Devitt, Kenta in there as well. Kota Ibushi, who rises up in 2021 to be the best wrestler on the game. Shinsuke Nakamura dropping down to 2nd. We've got Danielson there, Joe, Devitt, Kushida, Kevin Steen, Kenta, Roderick Strong, El Generico, and Cesaro's there as well. And again, if you want to pause and see the rest, you can. We'll go to 2022 with Kota Ibushi and Shinsuke Nakamura still at the top. Bryan Danielson up there again as well with Fergal Devitt, Rod Strong, Claudio, Samoa Joe, Pac. So yeah, really it's just a lot of the familiar names. So let's go to 2024, which is the latest release. So of course this is coming out in 2025 at the start. So Nakamura again at the top, Samoa Joe, Claudio Castagnoli up to 3rd, Jon Moxley rising to 4th, Wyndham Rotunda, of course Bray Wyatt, We've got Tyler Black there as well, Seth Rollins. We've got La Sombra, which is, of course, Andrade. Maya Hara's still up there. We've got Haruki Goto. Kota Ibushi dropped down to 10th there. We've got Will Ospreay up there as well. So what's Will doing? I'm interested to see that. He's with NPW. I think that's an Australian company, isn't it? And DDT as well, and it's the KOD Openweight Champion. We'll check the company wars then to see who the best companies are. And New Japan have overtaken WWE in the world for popularity, which is big. So let's have a look at their roster again then. They've got Nakamura, Kota Ibushi. They've got Maya Hara, who we see on that list before. Samoa Joe, Cesaro, Pac, Roderick Strong, Haruki Goto, Kushida. They've got such a solid roster here, especially that on that top side. They've even got Kevin Steen down here, Kyle O'Reilly, which is perfect for the New Japan style. Got Bryan Danielson there, Bobby Lashley's still there. We've got Walter, who would fit in well over in Japan. Brody Lee's there as well. We've got IWGP Heavyweight Champion Haruki Goto. And last time we looked, it was Samoa Joe, wasn't it? And then Nakamura won it back. And now Goto's got that. We've got the Intercontinental Champion Shingo Takagi. Last time we looked, it was Kota Ibushi, I believe. And yeah, he's won that since. Kota Ibushi there with a solid reign with 21 defenses. We've got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Sami Callihan. And last time we looked, it was Matsuyama, wasn't it? So Kushida's had it since, and Callihan then won it. AR Fox and Puma King are the Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions. Dynastia and Akira Tozawa have had it since the last time we looked. I think Taiji Ishimori and Bushi have also won it since the last time we checked. I think the champions last time were El Generico and Sonata, so that means Yamato and Akira Tozawa have also had it since. So the heavyweight tag is also AR Fox and Puma King, so a lot of crossover between the divisions for champions. Since last time we looked, Taiji Ishimori and Ryu Lee have had it. Bad Luck Fale and Toriyano, and yeah, AR Fox and Puma King picking it up since. The US champion is Brody Lee, which is pretty cool. I think last time we looked, it was Suzuki, wasn't it? And since then, yeah, Brody Lee's picked it up off him. Then Toriyano lost his Openweight Championship to Davey Boy Smith Jr. The six-man tag is currently vacant. I'm not going to go through the champions, though. There's a lot to talk about there. New Japan Cup has been won by Bryan Danielson, Kento Miyahara. The best of the Super Juniors, Bryan Danielson getting his second win there, and Rai Lee has won it since as well. The G1 Climax has been won by Claudio and Kenta. Jack Evans and Kushida winning the Super Junior Tag Tournament with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Shiozaki and Kenta Miyahara have won the World Tag League twice, so dominant team there. And let's check WWE then to see who they've got. The roster seems pretty much the same from what I can see. There's no real standouts from a quick glance. Anyway, let's check the champions. And Andrade is the WWE champion after John Morrison lost it to Xavier Woods. The Intercontinental champion is Heath Slater, fully deserved, I'd say. And Kenneth Cameron lost it to D'Angelo De Niro as well. Matt Riddle and Hogan Jones are the Raw Tag Team champions. So who's this guy then? Hogan Jones. He's 128th in the world, so he's quite good. And he's really good physically and performance-wise as well. So maybe someone to keep an eye out. He's got B submissions. I'm guessing he doesn't start that high. And yeah, it looks like he's massively improved. So Hogan Jones, keep an eye out for him in real life. Maybe he's one for the future. And someone without a picture winning the title. And the Dirty White Boy and P.T. Williams having a reign there with the Raw Tag Team Championships since we last looked as well. And the Raw Women's Champion is Nikki Cross. Lita's had a reign, and so has Bianca Belair. The SmackDown Tag Champions is Adam Cole and Chris Masters. Maybe Masters joined the Undisputed Era. And Ivar and Eric have had a reign since, so of course the Viking Raider Experience Machine. And Big Cass and Enzo Amore picking up their first ever Tag Team Championships after ending that monstrous reign by Rusev and Ryback. The SmackDown Women's Champion is Peyton Royce. Last time we looked, it was Becky, I think, wasn't it? And Bayley had her third reign, and Casey Catanzaro had also had a reign in between as well. The WWE United States Champion is Jack Swagger, and last time we looked, it was I think it was Matt Riddle, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. And Simon Gotch, Wesley Blake, and Axton Ray have had reigns as well. And the Universal Championship, currently Sheamus, and it was Dean Ambrose last time we looked. Bray Wyatt has since had it again, and Xavier Woods had a reign as well. So he's been Universal Champion and WWE Champion. So Xavier Woods, again, someone with a lot of potential, I believe. And yeah, it's showing in this game. And he's got the 2 biggest belts in the company. So fair play to him. And before we look at NXT, let's just have a look at who else is big. So Ring of Honor, someone we haven't looked at yet. I've got Austin Aries, AJ, Jay Briscoe, Drew Gulak, EC3, Timothy Thatcher, who's just signed with WWE in real life. Robbie E is there. They've got Grado, Michael Bennett, Trevor Lee, Casey McKnight, which is Scott Dawson. Tommaso Ciampa's there, so it seems he's left AEW, or he might be doing both. No, he's signed with Ring of Honor on a written deal. So it'd be interesting to see who AEW have replaced him with. They've got Ethan Page, Stu Grayson, Dalton Castle. So let's check the championships then. The top prospect tournament has been won by Tommaso Ciampa, Casey McKnight, EC3, AJ Styles, and Austin Aries. It's not really prospects, so to speak, but we'll go with it, whatever. And Jay Briscoe is the current Ring of Honor champion, and since the start of the game, EC3, Jay Briscoe had it again. Trevor Lee and Timothy Thatcher have been that champion. The 6-man tag in Ring of Honor is Nick Dinsmore, Cedric Alexander, and Robbie E, since winning it in May 2020. And the World Tag Team Champions are Michael Bennett and Ethan Page. Leo Rush and Nick Dinsmore were the first champions since the save. DJZ and Michael Bennett won it then. Cedric Alexander and Robbie E, and then Leo Rush and Mark Briscoe. So Leo Rush having it with 2 different partners, and so is Michael Bennett. And the Ring of Honor TV champion is DJZ, with it also being held by Nick Dinsmore, Tommaso Ciampa, Casey McKnight, DJZ again, and also Casey McKnight again. So he's had 2 reigns. And the Women of Honor champion is Nyla Rose, with Aria Cadenza, Brooke Adams, Nevar. Brooke Adams with a 2nd reign. The 4th biggest company in the world is Stardom, so it'll be interesting to see who they've got. Maybe they've had a lot of signings in terms of top women in the world. And their top star is Kaylee Ray with Candice LeRae as well. So 2 huge signings. Also Io Shirai rejoining Stardom as well. And also the current in real life AEW Women's Champion Rio going back as well. So let's check CMLL. And Rush is there, so is Rey Mysterio Jr., Volador Jr. as well. CMLL are 5th in the world, and AAA are nowhere to be seen in this top 10 at least. Where are they now? They're 12th, and currently regional. Their top star being Pentagon Jr. But yeah, let's quickly check the All Japan roster before we go into NXT and AEW. Naito is their top guy, with Zack Sabre Jr. following him, and Rai Lee. Yeah, we'll start with AEW, who are currently not even around. Have they closed down? I think they have, Am I just blind? Let's have a look. All Elite Wrestling. No, they are still active. So they're 19th. So let me just... there they are. What am I on about? I thought they closed down. So they have joined an alliance, though, the Cyber Agent Alliance, and they're still only running AEW Dark. So it looks like they lost their TV deal and haven't got one back. So Dean Mutardi is their top guy since the loss of Tommaso Ciampa to Ring of Honor. Samurai Del Sol and Stephen Walters, Delirious, Chaz Betts, of course Chad Gable, so he's left NXT. So they have managed to replace Tommaso, I would think, with the likes of Kalisto and Chad Gable, but still the roster is thin to say the least. Chris Jericho is there though, but he is a manager. The champions though are still Dean Mutardi. So yeah, that long reign from Ciampa before getting snapped up by Ring of Honor, and then Mojo won it back. The AEW Tag Champions are still Delirious and Dean Mutardi, and the Women's Champion is Aya Pereira. And Diamante had it. Jen Van Muscles had a 2nd reign since that Danielle Monet reign that we saw earlier. And actually, before we check NXT, let's check NXT UK before we close out this episode. And the download link for this save will be in the description below, so make sure you check that out if you do want to play on it. It should be an interesting little save if you want to have a go. But Oliver Gray is there at WWE NXT UK, Jimmy Havoc, Martin Kirby, a bit of a legend in the UK. And let's check their champions then. So the current NXT UK champion is Martin Kirby, well deserved. Trent Sevens had it, Oliver Gray's had it, and then Eddie Dennis has as well. The tag champions are currently Gabriel Kidd and Nick Ketchum, Ash Ketchum's famous brother. And Martin Kirby and Jack Walker also had a little reign there. The NXT UK Women's Champion is Eliza Rowe. And let's check NXT to close out the episode then. And their best guy, of course, it's Otis. Akom's there, Mahabali Shera's still there. And let's check the champions then, as the Dusty Rhodes Classic has been won. I think last time it was Angelo Dawkins and Otis, wasn't it? So Otis won it again, this time with Simon Gotch. And D.A. Brewer, the referee, won it with Otis as well. So Otis is dominating the tag team scene with different partners. And Otis is the NXT champion and thoroughly deserved. And Fred Yahi lost it to Otis. Then Akon won it off him and Otis has it back. The NXT Cruiserweight champion is currently Nick Iggy. And I think last time it was D.A. Brewer, wasn't it? And then Troy Hollywood had it as well. And D.A. Brewer is also the North American champion. So this referee having some good title reigns here. He's a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winner, NXT Cruiserweight winner, and of course the North American champion currently. And Aiden English has held it, and so has Angelo Dawkins. I think last time we looked it was Dawkins from the dates. It was 2023, wasn't it? So it would be. And Aiden English has won it since and lost it to the ref. And NXT Tag Team Championships. Last time it was Mahabali Shera and Aiden English, I think, and they're still the champions. And the NXT Women's finally to close out is Salina De La Renta. And since Liv Morgan's reign that we saw earlier, Emma returned and won that belt. Actually, before we do go, I just want to quickly look at a few people that we haven't covered so far. So I've made a little shortlist just of a few names that are of interest. So Bill Goldberg is someone I wanted to have a look at, and seems he hasn't had any matches since the start of the save. He is though a colour commentator at NWA, so that's pretty interesting. His stat for colour commentary is 67, so he's actually half good. And yeah, so that's what Bill's been doing. He hasn't been wrestling. Also, Brock Lesnar is now retired, and I don't think he's had any matches either, so he's not interested in any roles outside of the ring. His roles say none, so he's gone forever. Cody Rhodes is someone that didn't pop up, so let's see where he's been for this whole time. And he has been on the Japanese independent scene there, and has been wrestling for DDT and Wrestle One, and he was with New Japan for the first year before leaving in August. So he's had a little bit of a stint over in Japan, and he's moved there to Kanto. But nothing really that major has happened since he left AEW. And also Roman Reigns is currently unemployed. So let's see if he's had any matches since the start. And again, he's gone to DDT. So they've actually had a decent roster throughout the save. He went to Big Japan, then DDT, and then Big Japan again. Guessing these were just short touring contracts. Then DDT once again, then Noah, then went back to DDT, and ultimately is now unemployed again. So maybe he's going to have another tour in Japan, or maybe he'll be picked up by one of the bigger promotions. Maybe New Japan will take a look at him if he improves his popularity in Japan enough. He seems at a decent level now, so maybe this is the point where they'll start looking at him, or maybe WWE want him back. We've also got John Cena on this list, and he's currently a road agent for a couple of promotions. Let's see if he had any matches in the save at all, and no, he hasn't had anything. So yeah, just road agency for John Cena there. Kenny Omega currently unemployed, and has he had any matches since he left AEW? He was signed to ASW UK, so he's been at a British promotion until he went onto the Japanese independents in 2023, and since then hasn't found any work at all. And his popularity should be enough to get a job in New Japan, so maybe that's something that happens. But he is 41 now, so with him leaving AEW, he just didn't do a lot. Mark Calloway, so of course the Undertaker, let's see if he had any matches for anyone before retiring, and he didn't. But yeah, he is retired now, and he's a road agent and personality Ric Flair has died, and so has Sting. So ending it on a bit of a negative there, but something I noticed as I was looking through some names. So 2 legends of WCW are now gone, so rest in peace. But yeah, interesting stuff, and certainly a lot of interesting things happening, most notably New Japan overtaking WWE in this scenario, with a lot of talent from WWE signing with New Japan to give them that advantage. They've got the likes of Nakamura leading the way there. His return to Japan has helped take down the WWE off their perch, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, as I say, if you want to play this save, there will be a link in the description. You will have to be a member of TEWDB if you do want to play it. But yeah, it is easy enough to sign up to get access to the mod. You'll see the login thing up there. Just click create an account. You just need to confirm your email, check the junk if you can't see the email go through, and then you'll need to go to downloads and members only. It's not there currently in this section because obviously I'm still recording the video, but it will be on there by the time this video is live. So you just want to click on it, then click download. Also, the save for the no AEW WWE one that I did, where I closed down WWE and AEW to see how that affected the wrestling world, that is also on there as well. Someone reported an error which I've since fixed. But yeah, that's there if you want to check that out. As it says here, log in to download, and it will say the same thing, so you'll have to create an account or just log in if you've already got one to get access to it. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, drop a like to let me know, and make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss another video from me. And why not check out one of the videos that you can see on the screen right now. But until next time, peace.